Hello, all the speakers, eminent speakers, and members of Jana family. I extend my warm welcome to all of you and also thank you for coming here out of your busy schedule. I'll be, it is great honor for me to be a part of this Jana Outreach Foundation, and I feel really delighted to be emceeing today for this event. One second, sorry, there were some technical glitches. Uh, it gives me great pleasure to invite you all for this event. And today's topic is handicraft, khadi, and handloom, and its relevance, importance, and relevance in Indian context. I hope you all will enjoy this event and will have uh, enriching experience. Before I go further, let me say a few words about handicraft industry. The handicraft in India plays a very pivotal and significant role in the economy of the country. It gives opportunities to hundreds and thousands of craftsmen in rural, semi-urban and urban areas. Handicrafts have great potential as they hold the key for sustaining not only the millions of artisans who are already in the market, but also for increasingly large number of new entrants of this sector. In today's event, we shall witness more such beneficial information by our eminent speakers. Now, I would like to request someone from the uh, attendees to play
Yeah,
vision video.
Priyanka, just to wait. You may proceed with the next item. Amitabh Bhaiya will be joining in any moment, and he will be doing the honors of playing the vision document video. You can proceed to the next item, and the moment he joins in, then you can request him to play the vision video.
Okay.
Yeah, he has joined. He has joined, but you can ask him. Yeah, you can ask him if he is ready. Then fair enough. Otherwise, you can go to the next item, and then thereafter you can request.
All right. Good evening, sir. He is still connecting. So, let him connect. In the meantime, I think he is in. Good evening, sir. Amitabh Pathak. Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me, sir? Please unmute yourself. No, I don't think he is able to hear me. So in the meantime, I'll be explaining what would be the takeaway from this event. What is the purpose and takeaway of the event? The purpose and takeaway of this event will be the purpose and takeaways of this event would be mainly the relevance of handloom, handicraft, and khadi in the various context of India, and these will highlight the various cultures and traditions of our country. It not only promotes our tradition but also replicates our history. We come to know all about known and unknown interesting facts of this handicraft industry through our speakers. This event will have introduction by welcome address by Mr. Sanjay Prasad. they'll be playing great memories milestone videos, and Mr. Amitabh Pathak will explain about the memories of the video. Then Dr. Nandini Bhattacharya will be speaking for 2 minutes about is weaving a dying art. After Dr. Nandini Bhattacharya Panda, Ms. Bela Sangvi will be speaking for on the theme revivalist, handloom, textiles, handicrafts, and khadi for about 60 minutes. Then the attendees will be sharing their experience, what they have experienced and what they have taken for future in this field. Then there will be a vote of thanks by Mr. Yajnik. So the event is open for all the speakers. I would like to request Sanjay Prasada sir to give his welcome address. Before he gives his address, let me introduce Mr. Sanjay Prasad. Mr. Sanjay Prasad is a diploma holder in business management. Sanjay has held different management positions in the area of purchase stores, warehouse management with over 33 years of experience in materials management and vendor development with reputed organizations across diverse industries. With his impressive communication skills and industry experience, he is now keen on providing his mettle in the social service sector. I would like to request Sanjay Prasad sir to give his welcome address. Mr. Sanjay Prasad. Unmute yourself. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Priyanka,
Yes.
for introducing me. And good evening to our members. I'm honored for having been entrusted with the responsibility of delivering today's keynote and welcome address. It's a true reflection of the objective of this foundation, where each member is given an opportunity. I'm here in front of you only because the foundation has faith in people like me. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with me today. We are very pleased to be able to welcome those of you that have been with us for a long time now, as well as those who are new to our family. Thank you. I would like to introduce Priyanka Manjari to all of you. Priyanka Manjari is a self-regulated humanist, a double master's in business administration and politics. She has learned French and Spanish out of her interest, and essentially excellent expert in public relations, leadership, administration, and coordination. She has more than a decade and a half of working experience in civil society, associated with various non-governmental organizations to guide, suggest, coordinate issues of concerns. Currently working with India Habitat Center, an allied organization that provides a physical environment to serve as a catalyst for a synergetic relationship between individuals and institutions working in a diverse habitat related areas and therefore maximize their total effectiveness. Her strength is based on dealing with the course of life that comes her way. She believes in William Ernest Henley's poem Invictus that ends with I am the master of my fate and the captain of my soul. Yes, Priyanka.
Thank you so much, sir, for that introduction and welcome address.
Priyanka, since Amitabh Bhaiya is available, you may ask him if he is able to play the video. Then the two continuous videos can be played, the vision and the great memory.
Yes, yes. So, Good evening, Amitabh Pathak, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Just hold on. Yeah, I can hear you and I can see you through two different machines, but I don't know whether, because the laptop audio is giving problem. So I'll definitely try and see if it works. Then we have that, right? Just give me a second. Yeah.
Yes.
Xena World Vision Document. We are a family bringing joy, happiness, prosperity in our lives and around by nurturing, encouraging, catalyzing, enabling 360-degree well-being in physical, intellectual, emotional, social, and economic dimensions. Our vision: abundance of joy, happiness, care, and prosperity for all. Our mission: we strive for alleviating pain, suffering, and poverty, encouraging shackle-free thoughts, enabling dignified jobs and livelihood, nurturing close family bonding, seeking joy and happiness in the impact caused. Our values: passion, work with passion and from heart. Our values: humility, learning attitude, mutual respect, and open to listening to others. Our values: integrity, sincere, honest, and ethical principles. Our values: empathy, understand and feel others as your own. Our values: humanity, have compassion, brotherhood, fellow feeling, and kindness. Our values: joy, work that brings joy and value, diversity and inclusion. Our character: trust, belief, faith, and confidence in self and in others, from where love and compassion emanate. Our character: virtue, high moral values, patience, consideration, trustworthiness, and forgiveness. Our character: transparency, honesty, openness, and not guarded. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amita Pathak sir. Could you please explain the memory videos now to the members of the family, Jana family?
Priyanka, you're in mute, I think.
Thank you so much, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I would like to request you to kindly explain the memory videos played by you. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right. Yeah, welcome you all. I just wanted to take this opportunity to explain, you saw a video after the vision and the mission, and you saw people, you saw some meetings, some, get together, some workshops, some celebrations, some events, all that. What do you think was happening behind? Now, these are people who are behind the scene workers, people in Zena, our people who are working behind the scene, taking time out, volunteering, discussing, debating, working beyond their comfort zone and seeking satisfaction through it. They are from various backgrounds. What brought all of them together is the purpose, the mission and the vision of Zena. Nobody knew each other before, they started meeting, and they are from various different backgrounds. Some are engineers, some are doctors, some are, social workers. The alignment is on the common purpose. Now, what topics do they discuss? These are important issues regarding, the purpose and the mission of Zena, about the society, the pains, the various topics that we exist for. There is teamwork, there's listening to each other, there's intent listening, there's deep understanding, there is passionate debates, there is accommodating, finally arriving at some consensus and a democratic outcome, always. There is no hierarchy, no discrimination, and a level playing field for all. There is appreciation and accolades for each other, and very, very harmonious way of working long hours. Now, you could ask then what's there for me? You can also participate and contribute in such sessions. You can join our working groups and have meaningful participation and a collaborative learning for yourself. Come, join us, make a difference to the society, feel the happiness in yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir, for that wonderful explanation of our memory video. I would now like to request our first speaker, Nandini Bhattacharya ma'am, to speak on the topic is weaving a dying art, lecture a case study. Before she speaks, let me introduce her profile. She is a distinguished fellow, Asian Confluence, Meghalaya. She is also former senior fellow, Nehru Memorial Museum and Library. She has authored several books and articles. She is a historian by training, but working for a long time on the indigenous communities in the eastern and northern Himalayas. She prepared documentary films also on the Himalayan communities, especially the Lepcha community. I welcome you, ma'am. Kindly proceed on your speech.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rajiva Bhai and distinguished friends. Actually, I'm not at all expert, as I said, on this subject. It is just my observation while I was doing something else. Basically, I for the Northeast India and the Lepcha community and the Himalayan communities, I was doing cultural documentation. So naturally weaving and everything came into the way of looking at things. But I will start with something. Being a historian, I will speak something about the history and the indigenous communities. How did they lose their traditional skill? Of course, many of them are trying to revive it. I will start with Northeast India. Northeast India meaning there are 8 states. I will right now, Sikkim is not included, but there are like Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Assam, then Mizoram, Tripura, Meghalaya, and 7 states. Actually, I will speak what was the history. I will start with the colonization of the Northeast India since the middle of the 19th century, like 1935 onwards. The British came and the British tried to conquer. And what was Northeast India? There was nothing called Northeast India before. There was the Ahom kings and the communities, they had their chieftains. And it was a very, still now it is a resource frontier. Before that, there were a lot of resources like mountains, hills, springs, mineral, and there was no border. Bordering was done only by Pemberton in 1835. So there was biodiversity, and like agriculture, like other activities, lifestyle and material culture, handloom means, weaving and everything, bamboo basket, it was part of their culture. Then how those were destroyed. The colonial people, they wanted to have command over the resources, and they wanted to bring the people under their hegemony. And they wanted to have their resources for commercial and trading purpose. But resources, they had their control over the forest, they had control over the rivers, they had control over the land. And what happened? Like some of the lands, they were producing something else, like bamboo, like some other things. But the British, they wanted to instead introduce rice cultivation or something which they could commercially use. So in the process, what happened? The people were, I mean, there were violent clash between the indigenous people in Northeast India and the British rulers. So these are all history. But what happened in the long run? The biodiversity, the lifestyle had been lost. And the traditional handicraft had been lost. Instead, the border trade, like after the bordering of like Pemberton line, Pemberton Johnstone line, the open trade became border trade. And because of the violence, the people, and they could not manufacture, produce their things. So the trading was lost. Like the trading market was Sadia in Assam, More, and some other places. So the people lost their traditional skill, traditional handicraft. And this thing went on for a long, long time. Now, after more than a century, I mean, about 1.5 century, all these indigenous people are trying to, in the Northeast, are trying to revive their handicraft. I can talk about a lady whose name is Sentila in Nagaland. She did a great deal to revive the traditional handicraft in Nagaland. Actually, we have a friend, we have a group, Himalayan Heritage Center. Viva Joshi, she spoke, and in Pitts River Museum, I mean, all those handicraft items became museum piece because the manufacturings were discontinued. But now people like Sentila are trying to revive the skill in Nagaland, in Arunachal Pradesh, in Zairo or Zero, Apatani community. They are producing, they are really, I mean, good manufacturers and good traders. They are prosperous community, and there are tradings, and they are exporting outside. So the scenario has improved, and one should know about the Assamese silk. And I went to a very remote village in Meghalaya. And Meghalaya, the Endi silk is really very precious item that was also lost. So, I went to a village which they have a cooperative, and now they have revived the manufacturing of Endi silk. Well, I just forgot to bring my piece there also, but market is really limited. Limited means most of these people, like in the remote areas, they don't have market. Apatanis, they are finding some markets, but in the Meghalaya or in some other areas, I will soon speak about the lectures, there are no markets. So if there is no market, then there is no incentive for manufacturing. So this is my very limited study and limited experience about, I have seen, but I have not analyzed to that extent. Whatever I said is from my own common sense. So now I will speak about the Lepcha community. I have worked on the Lepcha community. I am still working for a long time. So actually I have worked on them. I'm still working on their cultural heritage, and Lepcha community, they had advanced technology, although British had defined them as a savage, primitive, barbaric community. But the Lepcha community, I spoke about their food culture somewhere, I mean, in 2-3 places. now the Lepcha community, they had their very improved handlooms, and their handlooms, they had been manufactured from the local produce. And here the story went the same. The British, they conquered Darjeeling, and also they conquered Sikkim, and the land of the Lepchas had been converted mostly in Darjeeling, but also in Sikkim, into tea plantation areas. I mean, huge, vast expanse of the areas for tea plantation. So the material for weaving, they lost it, like they lost in entire Northeast India. So the Lepcha community, and because they were the indigenous communities, and the British, they never, I mean, the colonizers never encouraged the indigenous communities nowhere in the world. So Lepcha community, they also had a lot of problem. They were defined as dying race. They were kept in a kind of reserved place called Zongu in North Sikkim. So Lepcha community also had, I mean, they lost it. They lost the technology. They lost their skill. But over a few decades, some of the leaders like Sonam Sering Lepcha, like Liangsang Tamsang, and like so many other, now there are James Lepcha. I mean, there are so many people, they're trying to revive the skill. I really traveled all over Kalimpong, Darjeeling, and Sikkim, in the areas where Lepchas live, and I have visited some of the self-help groups. They called it Diptong. Diptong in some of the, like, I collected some items. I'll show 2 items in a place called Lingsekha. It's quite far. It's really a very, very remote place, Lingsekha. I mean, only a few families live there, very scattered. Not a few families, but they live in scattered places. But they are producing from wool, and they are trying to revive the cotton material for production of the handicraft items. So I will, they are very good. Actually, I have shown it in my documentary film, how they are weaving, but I cannot really show that here. But I can, I will show something like, this is kind of a garland. I have forgotten the name of the flower. The flower is inside, and the outer is like a boat. You just force it open and you can find the flower, and they are trying to make garlands and many other, you know, home decor items from these flowers. I am forgetting the name of this flower, really. During this pandemic, I have lost touch with so many things. And this is a handloom bag. This is an identity of the Lepcha. I mean, all the Lepchas, they carry these bags, and I have got quite a few, and whenever I feel like, I also carry these bags. This is, don't you feel this is exquisite weaving, exquisite? But anyway, but I will tell later. And this is from wool, and which they manufacture from the local lambs. And this is cotton, the cotton bag. This is also very nicely handicraft, and they are finding it difficult to collect more cotton from the locality, but they are really trying hard. But the problem is the market. Again, I mean, these things are sold only among the Lipchas. They sell some, they manufacture some, they handicraft some belts, bamboo hats, but this is really limited. The market is limited. So that's why, not being a non-expert, I'm really, I tried to share my experience, not my knowledge, about the people who are trying hard to sustain their traditional craft, but they are finding it difficult. So Zena is a global foundation. So with the hope that through Zena, through some other platforms where Zena can pass it on to other platforms, these people can get some justice and can get some, not prosperity, but some incentive for survival for their traditional art form and survival of the artists. So I think I should stop here. Thank you very much for giving me a platform.
Thank you so very much, ma'am, for sharing such enriching experience with all of us. Thanks.
Priyanka, just one sec. Priyanka, just one sec.
Okay.
I think since we are fortunate that Amitabh Bhaiya is present amongst us, I saw that he was making a mental noting when Nandini Didi made that passionate appeal in the end. I think, I'm sure Amitabh Bhaiya would like to and love to share some thought on that. When you are expecting so much from Zana family, what we in Zana family would like to do. Amitabh Bhaiya, all your free will, free thought.
All right. Yeah, this was, just the preliminary, I learned, and I thought I know Northeast quite well, but there was at least 3 or 4 new learnings for me. So definitely. Handicraft, that's a problem which is a common problem. It's not a specific problem of Northeast. It is a problem of most of the handicraft, except very few, some like say Rajasthan or some place where they are able to, tell their stories to the world, and now they are known. So the trick is to tell the story, right? Now you have 11 of us enrolled in your story. We need maybe millions getting enrolled in this story, and then definitely then the curiosity and the ability to help them or to pick up that would come from there. Now the other, which is purely commercial, is that both the samples which you showed are good for something. It's not a decorative piece, right? They are of use, and those type of use, or perhaps alternate use which the urban class has, and they can weave. Such sort of ideating needs to happen. Now Zena, as you rightly said, has its presence all over the world. So we are a global.
May I just speak a few words? Actually,
Sure.
I talked to the leadership for a long time, and also the artists, actually, because I know handicraft. I mean, because they are all the weavers and all these, handicraft people, they are marginal. They are marginal communities, number one. But so they really need, and I showed some, and like in Northeast India, not in Assam, but not Apatani, but not right now in Nagaland, but there are some pockets where manufacturers or the handicrafts people, they are really suffering. They can't really, they are doing agriculture, but they have got great skill. And about the Lepcha community, I had a lengthy discussion with the people and with the leadership. Actually, yes, they can. Like this is the wool thing, and you can see this can be very colorful, right? So I told them to make a bed cover for me.
Correct. Yeah.
Bed cover or sofa cover or wall hanging. And there are, or curtains. So there are and also dress material. I mean, they wear dresses, but
Absolutely.
they are only traditional dresses, I mean, showing their identity. But they can be innovative in their design. I mean, these are very much, this is not very typical lecture design, but they can be innovative and they can supply to the market. But there has to be some, middlemen I really don't trust in, but I'm sure there are some good people who can do some good thing for them. Thank you.
See what internet has done good for handicrafts is it has almost eliminated the middleman. Right now, people from villages they work on their portal. They upload their the pictures of what they create, and they are being picked up almost directly. So that's the possibility. The internet portal is a huge possibility. So no more the cuts and the margins and they are on their the mercy of the middleman. So those are not there. Now, having said that, what I said, that the presence has to be felt, and that is marketing, not for handicraft, for any commodity. That's true. You need to have the presence felt. The digital platform is there, which has made it much more cost effective and cheaper. Right, so it will take some iterations and perhaps some discussions too.
And there should be someone to handle the porter on behalf of them, because
oh yeah, absolutely.
Many of them, they do not have, I mean, all these villages, they don't have electricity. They have, but the electricity remains, say, 3-4 hours a day, or at most 8 hours a day.
Correct.
So there should be someone, but I mean,
problems will
I'm
remain.
happy to present in this.
The problems will always remain, but currently the possibilities are much more than the problems, right?
Yes.
So India is talking about solar power, and their goals are highly ambitious, right? So we, in next 5 to 7 years, we will reach a stage perhaps where the cost of energy would drastically drop, almost free, right?
But
so
people
then
don't believe in solar. That is the problem. I do believe.
it's a matter of time, right? It's a matter of time. So these people who are getting 3 hours or 4 hours of electricity, if they are promised a continuous irrigation, if they are promised, that for their fields they would have, electricity, and they would have intelligently, pumped water, they would love it. There are people, other places of India where things are happening. There is a lot which are happening. So definitely, what Zeena can do in collaboration is to bring the world closer to them, right? And they are the experts. Once they need not understand how to run a portal, right? That's a technical. So they should be economically in state to hire that, right? So it's like that.
If I actually, I may work on the cultural documentation of the Lepcha community in Sikkim and also in Kalimpong, Darjeeling, and even if actually I usually go there. So whenever I get the chance to go, I will definitely pass on the news, and I will be in touch with you so that
Perfect.
you can help then. And I am very much a solar enthusiast. And once upon a time, I tried my hands in entrepreneurship. I failed, but one of the area was solar. But I mean, it was, say, 2 decades ago almost. So,
Okay. How long you are associated with Nehru Memorial?
Well, I was the professorial fellow for 2 years, but
Okay.
I am associated with them. But before that, I worked for Maulana Abul Kalam Azad Institute for Asian Studies.
Okay.
Before that, I worked somewhere in Indian Council of Historical Research. Before that, I was an entrepreneur. I had a factory.
Wow. Wow. We'll perhaps take it offline, and it sounds very exciting. And definitely, these are models which can be replicated. So it's just that it has to start somewhere. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
Priyanka, you can carry on, please.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Bela Sangvi. She is an Indian handloom evangelist and revivalist. Bela Sangvi's extensive career graph spans over 40 years, working in revival of handloom, handicrafted and khadi techniques in India and abroad. Over the years, her collections have been displayed across 23 countries via exhibitions, stores, and various international museums, including the Los Angeles County Museum of Modern Art and Kunstmuseum, Basel. Bela has also addressed various industry conferences, including UNESCO, Color Congress, and Indigo, among other conferences on patola, ikat, brocade, and natural dyes, etc. Bela's passion is to bring handloom on the forefront and empower weavers and craftsmen to improve their per piece earning and their lifestyle. Bela is truly an artist rooted in Vedic traditions and Sanatan traditions approached from today's angle. She loved to revive traditional antiquated embroidery techniques, which are expressed via her textile murals that support 450 craftsmen who are grouped together on project need base. Her design studio, Purnakala by Bela Sangvi, has a vision to revive antiquated handloom sarees. The word takes many forms in Sanskrit: knowledge, powers, arts, or levels of consciousness. Purnakala or complete art aims to re-engineer handloom technology and design in handlooms and handicrafts to study ergonomics of weaving. As a lifelong chronicle of textiles art and handicrafts in India, with over 4 decades experience, her journey began at her father's factory and manufacturer's looms. From a young age, she was introduced to weaving and operating different looms. She also provides design inputs in the weaves of different fabrics. With her interaction with the artisans, Bella realized her twofold goal: to revive the traditional textiles and to bring in economic sustainability in the lives of the traditional artisans. Over the years, her work with the artisans has allowed her to generate employment and to give them the freedom to enjoy the craft. She has also imparted several trainings on modern innovations that improve the quality of their workmanship. She has worked on several design projects that aim at business development or business re-engineering. Presently, Bella is working on a book to document all her years of research in various textile techniques in India. She is available for keynote presentations, teaching assignments, lectures, designing and execution projects, consultation on business re-engineering, product design, and workshops. Industry discussions and social media collaboration with influencers is also viable upon request. Bella Sangviji, kindly proceed.
Priyanka ji, thank you very much for a wonderful introduction and amazing presentation on Lepcha community and the weaving. The backstrap loom that Lepcha community uses has amazing options of actual manufacturing uh, very basic textiles to a very complex textile. So it depends on the weaver what they want to weave. So congratulations on a wonderful presentation, very beautiful understanding of Lepcha community textiles. Well, today I'd like to talk to you about original Patan Patola. Patan Patola is from Gujarat. Patan is in Gujarat, and it's one of the
Didi, Bela Didi, just one sec. Before
yes.
you proceed, you have to slightly correct and set your, yeah, there,
Okay.
I think, 1 second, just come right on the frame. On your left hand side, there is a lot of light. Yeah,
Is
please
that all right?
continue. Yeah, please.
Sorry
continue.
about that.
It is better.
I moved the settings, so please excuse me for that. So I'll be talking on original Patan Patolas. Patan Patola is tie and dye technique before the yarn is attached to the loom. It's tied and dyed. Design is applied onto the yarn, weft separately, warp separately, and then it is woven together. So that is original Patan Patola. Amazingly complex technique. Simply, the loom is very simple, but the reachability of the textile has now been adopted almost all over the world on, say, for example, when it traveled to south, it took on the form of ikat. When it went slightly further via the sea route, it went to Thailand, then to Indonesia, further to Japan. And each one of them took on the local adaptation of the Patola textile. And yet the exports of Patola has been going on since at least 12th century, if not more. On the Ajanta and Ellora caves, if you notice, there are the king and the queen wearing Patola technique clothes and beautiful workmanship done in a Patola technology. Now, it almost reminds us of Kasuri of Japan. Kasuri also is one of the tie and dye technique, resist technique, which has traveled from India. It has taken on the very, very beautiful traditional Japanese tie and dye technology. Now, from Gujarat to the whole of Southeast Asia, and then from Southeast Asia back to Gujarat, and then again to Central Asia. Amazing cuts of Central Asia. It went all the way to Europe. Even Picasso has worked on this in such a way that he worked on ikat technology to express himself. It reached Africa, it reached Guatemala, it reached South America. So you can imagine this technology of tie and dye or of Patola technology has reached all over and influenced the whole world. And hence, my first book is going to be on Patola. the spice route, salt route, silk route, each one has been trading in Patola and ensuring that the Patola technology is understood by the locals and has been adopted by locals. Say, for example, the Banda textiles of Orissa is absolutely, the base is still the resist tie and dye. And that is something which we need to think about. In Patola, each and every, there are some classical designs, and each and every classical design has a way of being, and there are meanings behind it. But culturally, it is understood that it protects. The reason for it protecting the people is because the base material for dyeing is harda, beda, and amla. But the yarn is soaked into it. And then along with that, with the natural dyes like cochineal, indigo, haldi, henna, so many different dyes which uh, which has antibacterial and antiviral properties. I don't know how many of us realize that the maule, or in Gujarati what we call nada chedi, it's basically the remaining part of patola, which is used as a protective thread in the puja. Now, of course, it's specially made. Earlier, it was not specially made. Earlier, it was actually the remaining thread, or whatever is left behind after the loom is utilized. That thread was used as a raksha. Even when soldiers used to go for fights, they will tie that raksha. Or for the 7th month ceremony, for the pregnant woman, they will always make sure that she wore a patola, because the patola will have a protective quality. And hence, all the royal family all over the world imported real patola, that is original Patan patola. Even today, it's imported from Patan, and we export it all over the world, especially the Southeast Asian country. Most of the royal families prefer to use the patola because, again, it has this protective magical quality. If it is understood well, it can be utilized in a fantastic manner to ensure that we create markets for the karigars of India to supply all over the world, because even today, the Patan Patola has a place of its own, even though the locals have adopted something similar, have manufactured something similar. There is always the beautiful Patan Patola, which absolutely protects the person actually. Even today, the Patan Patola is hand twisted. It's not machine twisted. and hand dyed, so that the seepage of the quality of seepage is absolutely fantastic. The depth of work is absolutely amazing. Also, I feel that there is a huge potential as Indians. Handloom, handicrafts, and khadi is the largest employer of India after agriculture. And to me, it's extremely precious that if we utilize this resource, we have the largest skill sets in the whole world, skilled hands who can produce amazing quality of textiles, handicrafts, and khadi material. So we need to make sure that we actually become we are world leaders, but we bring the whole world's attention to this aspect so that world recognizes us as the custodian of the heritage of handloom, handicrafts, and khadi. Even today, we have the best quality. I'll share one anecdote. I was addressing the UNESCO conference on brocade. People had come with one technique, 1.5 technique, maybe 2 techniques. I had 36 different techniques, and I still felt I was not representing India enough. It's that kind of diversity we have. We already are world leaders. We just have to make sure that we create markets for our karigars, and that is turned into an economical advantage for India.
In English. Can see me? No. No. You can see me.
Can we have everyone on mute, please?
Exactly, please.
Thank you. So I think I'm come almost to the end of my presentation. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Any questions or any confusion? No questions? I think my presentation must have been so good. There are no questions.
How do you think, I have one query. How do you
Please.
think the artisans can be recognized worldwide? I mean, through their, there has to be someone, some assistance to take them on that platform to get the, required recognition, no?
The issue is not recognition. The issue is making sure that their skills are utilized, and recognition will come automatically. It will come once they know the product is relevant in the lifestyle. Say, for example, they were talking about Apatanis having a product range. Now, but that product range has to be utilized in a urban setting also, and in a setting where the lifestyle itself changes. So we have to adopt. The karigars don't have to adopt. We adopt, we design in such a way, and we do business engineering in such a way that the markets are created and sustained markets are created, so that the karigars per piece earning increases tremendously. And that is something which I have been working on since last 41 years, and which I do believe that needs to be done in a very sustained manner, and not just by Bela Sangvi, but there are many people who can do lot of work. And yet, say for example, the previous speaker spoke so beautifully about Lepcha, and that aspect is something which we need to bring it out. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about the stories so that these stories are communicated in such a way that internationally, that's the reason why I'm writing this book on textile techniques of India, that it's spoken in such a way that they know how to utilize that textile in their lifestyle. Say, for example, in European community, I can't expect them to wear such bright clothes, right? But at the same time, I can make patola in softer colors, which we are doing. And we ensure that we supply to them in the quality that they are able to sell. And that works very well for themselves and also for the karyagars. So it's a understanding, market understanding that is required to change. I'm not saying change the tradition, but at the same time, we can still always adopt the tradition, right?
So I have something
Thank you.
add. May I?
Yes, please. Yes,
Please.
please.
Mhm. Free for all.
Actually, it is a beautiful presentation. My question is, or well, I think I am thinking about it. I thought about it that the people, all those artisans, and the handicraft had a design typical, and the artisans were skilled in a different manner.
Yes.
But now, more and more, they have to address the global market, at least the national market.
They don't have to address.
In that sense, in a way, they have to, there would be a change in the tradition, in the
I would call it adaptation.
Adaptation, yes, in the form of designs, in the form of material use, everything. So
no, it
is
doesn't
there any
have to be.
research on that? Are you doing the, I mean, I'm sure people like you are doing some research on that.
Well, I have been constantly doing research on this since last 41 years. So, but having said that, we don't have to change ourselves, but we can adopt. We can adopt to a different way of looking at it so that we don't kind of, I still wear my patolas. I am so proud of my patolas that even if they give me 100 crores, I will still wear my original pattern patola. But at the same time, when I go for conferences, I will wear my pattern patola, which I have got done in softer colors, which they will appreciate better, so that I can create markets, not because I need to change, but I want to make sure that the karigars that I represent, they get the markets. In a similar fashion, we just have to adopt. We don't have to change ourselves. We don't have to change our raw material. We don't have to change anything at all, except just tweaking a little to adjust the market. That's what I believe. And it has been working for us since so many years that, the karigars, we started with literally 1.5 weaver. Now in the whole area, there is more than 2,000 weavers working on Patola technology. So you can imagine that it's working. And also, it doesn't have to be, we don't have to look at the markets outside the country, even markets inside the country. We need to make sure that we tap them. And that's exactly what is my specialty, that we adopt each and every technology. I have worked with 56 different textile technologies, handloom. I have worked with 43 handcrafted techniques and 4 khadi techniques. Everywhere, customized solutions have been found. There is no ready-made solution that, oh, okay, this technology, this will work. Each and every technology has different challenges and different solutions need to be found. So I do feel, does that answer your question?
Yeah, sure, definitely. But the point is actually, I mean, extension, not what I asked. That is, our life is very fast.
Absolutely.
So the material, like, I mean, handicraft items are very fancy. But if you have to do for, I mean, create larger market, then there should be kind of a revolution in the materials so that it can cope with the faster world, isn't it?
No, because the number of karigars are less. So whatever that they can manufacture, only that we have to adopt.
Yeah.
Say, for example, in the Northeast, especially in Mizoram, when I was working, I mean, I have worked all over the Northeast, but in Mizoram, when I was working, their skill sets are very simple skill sets. They know how to cut bamboo very well. So instead of weaving technology, what we did was to create only cut bamboo technology and created very inexpensive items. We created things like bamboo jewelry. We created things like bamboo pot holders, the restaurant serving system, lighting system, where the skill of weaving is very less, but cutting is fantastic. So depending on the skill set, we find the solutions for them. Whereas for Apatanis, it was exact opposite. Their skill sets are fantastic. So we were able to adopt there in a different, with a different solution. And obviously the Swalkuchi has a very different way of being. So and also the Andy silk that we were talking about, the skill sets are very different, which are to be utilized. So those skill sets have to be explained to the outer markets. And without explanation, when we just say, oh, this is what we have done, it doesn't work. We need to know what we are selling, and we need to know to whom we are selling, so that we are able to marry them together. And there is a win-win situation, not only for the Karigar, but also for the state. Because this will result into employment and also income generation. These are important skills that if we preserve just now, there is a huge, say for example, I'll give you one example. When I was working with Mizoram, I had a chance to go to Japan also. And there was one store which was looking for shoe packaging. And all I did was supply shoe packages to the Japanese people. and they loved it. The perfection with which they were able to create the shoe packaging, with each size having its own sizes. I think we had the order, the Zohandco people had the order for almost 3 crores of rupees, just packaging for shoes or lighting system. There is a restaurant in Thailand called Bamboo. The whole restaurant serving system, the whole restaurant lighting system, also the way it is presented, even the cooking is done in bamboo. And the remaining bamboo, consumers can take it home and use it as a planter. So it's absolutely biodegradable, and yet it is sustained so well that at different stages the solutions have been found. So such innovative solutions, if we are able to find, I'm sure others are able to find much better solutions for that.
Ilaji, I have a question to ask.
Please.
How do you get the customer feedback? You said that you suggested them to use less lower bright colors and all that. How do you get the feedback? Basic question.
I don't get the feedback. I observe them. To whom am I selling?
Mm-hmm.
What are their preferences? Before
But that
even
may
I
not be
design.
their preference, right? That may not be their preference. I'll give you an example. I go to London. Okay, I watch the people who are in Western dresses, and they'll be in grays and blues and blacks, which is how the Western textile is. But they will still love saris, right?
Yes.
They'll still love their gowns to be pink and red, and
yes.
So
But
I was wondering that, not particularly to you, but one of the things which Indian handicraft needs is a proper feedback mechanism which can be relied on, right?
May I say
Credible.
something? May I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. How do you create a credible, defined system? First of all.
Mhm.
Second is when you create a market, when there's a demand created and that demand is sustained, then you know that whatever are your observations, they're not wrong. Say, for example, I'll give you an example. Yes, bright colors are anyway being sold over there. So it's not that London has a different way of being, but I created kurtis for London market in softer tones. The regular, these color kurtis are sold at maximum 70 pounds, 80 pounds. The kurtis we created were sold at 190 pounds, and people were queuing up to pick up more. Not always we are right, but in this case, we were right. And per piece earning of Karig, for me, it's not about the design, it's not about the technology or something like that. What is the per piece earning of the Karigar?
Plus the total absolute term as well, right? The
Sorry?
total earning, not only the per piece earning, the total earning,
Total earning is relevant to us.
Yeah.
But for the Karigar, it is the per piece earning.
See, even for the Karigar, he would like to
May I
uplift
finish?
his.
May I finish?
Sure.
Let me finish. So that, say, can you imagine from 70 pounds to 190 pounds increase? What is the per piece earning? More than 100%? To me, that is precious. there is a huge potential that it can go to 400%, 500%, but just now 100% was absolutely all right without any study, just my observations and just by selling to the right people. Thank you. Can you continue with the question, please?
Yes, ma'am. Dr.
Yeah.
Poonam Arora says, I have a different take on textiles as imbuing meaning in a world where modernity, mass production has stripped us of inherent meaning. This concept of raksha provided by the remnants of the woven sari is fascinating.
So what is the question? What am I supposed to address?
I mean, she's saying that she has different take on whatever you have presented.
Each and every one of us will have a different take. It
Okay.
has to work. It's not that I am saying that's the ultimate. Who cares?
No.
Right? It has to work. And it has to create markets. It has to also make sure that India earns forex out of it, right? And creates employment out of it. So let's all work in a different direction. It's not necessary that, oh, I'm saying is right, so nobody else has to work in any other way. Let's try different routes.
There is another question. What material can be used to weave patola?
Yeah.
To date, I have silk patola. Do you have cotton patola? Please brief what type materials are suitable for patola weaving.
Mainly silk weaving is the best because the absorption of the dye which stays on top of it, hence the brilliance. So the silk is fantastic, but obviously we create it in cotton also because earlier silk was not even there, and silk came much later once China started exporting silk. But cotton patola also we can create. It may not have such brilliant colors, but it will have a different type of being, way of being. We can create that also. We've created jute patolas also. We have created pineapple yarn patolas also. So it depends on whatever. Patola is a technology. How we adopt that technology to the use, it will depend on that.
There is another question. How much does one have to compromise or adjust to get a hold on the market? Isn't there a risk of the originality getting lost or adulterated somewhere in the brand creation?
Can you see I'm still wearing a patola? And it's one of the most classical design called Nari Kunjar design. So when there are number of karigars which are reasonably high, one can afford to experiment. Initially, we never experimented with new designs, but now there are enough karigars. It's not an eyeing art. So we do experiment a lot with newer designs. We create funky designs also. And I don't believe that art or any craft is a stagnant statement. But each one has their own opinion. If somebody feels that it's not correct, then they should not work on it.
Thank you so much. There are no more questions.
Okay. Thank you very much for patiently listening to me.
It's a wonderful experience to listen to you because we have been to all over the places and see the weavers and the artisans, and we hear about their plights. I'm telling you, I mean, if I just 1 minute, I'm sure you are aware about Chow dance from Purulia. So I had been there twice, and there are villages. One village is Churida. They they uh, they produce the masks and the outfit, particularly the mask. And they are so much poor people. And because I went with a team of government officials, and maybe I'm approachable, they used to call me. They took my phone number, mobile number, and used to call me, ma'am, help us. I mean, no way I can help. But people like you are really helping, and you should, extend your helping hands to.
But you are helping by talking. You are helping by making other people aware. It doesn't have to be one particular way of being. Every one of us is helping them. We are supporting each other. So don't feel that you are not helping. You are helping in a different way. I'm helping in a different way. And this is my way. And because I have studied and because I've been working in this field since last 41 years, I have experience to do this. But that does not mean that others can't do it. I'm by no way one Bela Sangvi is enough for the whole handloom, handicrafts and khadi industry. I mean, even thousands of Bela Sangvi comes, it's not enough. So join in, all of us. Let's work together on this and make India Sone ki chidiya again. I don't know whether how many of us are actually aware, but before the colonial rule, we had uh, we had 28% of world's wealth,
Yes, no doubt
and
about it.
the reason behind it was textiles, spices, and agriculture.
Some other
Yeah.
things like uh, ivory
No,
items, gold.
ivory was not from India. Ivory was more from Africa,
Okay.
because the local consumption of ivory itself was so high in India that there was hardly any export of ivory. But textiles, paithani, patolas, even simple cottons, which were
Muslin, silk, all
muslin,
these things.
silk, so
And
many.
Bengal was like my area. Bengal
Yes,
was the epicenter of all those
yes,
exporting.
yes. Why do you say Bengal is your area? Why can't it be mine also?
Yeah, true. I mean, I speak Bengali.
Our area. No, I can
Our
understand
area
Bengal.
is true.
Yeah. So, but it's a pleasure that we need this pride that this is mine and we need to promote it. I love that. And it has, there is no right or the wrong way. We just have to make the effort. We just have to make the effort. Anything else that I can help with?
Thank you so much. It was very
Most welcome.
enriching experience
Most welcome.
listening to you and further discussion on it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And thank
Yes,
you very
Priyanka,
much.
you can open the house to people who are attending, so that having heard the two wonderful speakers, they can just share their thoughts, whatever comes to them.
So the house is open for queries, discussions, and anything that the attendees would like to ask from the speakers, our speakers of the day.
Emang ini.
I don't think they have any questions.
Exactly.
Priyanka, Priyanka, because no one is looks like no one is going to be questioning. Neeraj Bhaiya has just joined. You can just throw up some question to him. He can take it forward very well.
Hello, sir. Hello, Neeraj, sir. Can you hear me?
Hanji, yes, I can. Hello. Nice to see Bella after a long time.
After a
hope-
long time, yes.
Yes.
I hope
How are
you
you?
heard Bella Sangvi, madam.
No, I could not. I was busy with a family function and I joined just now. That's how I- The photograph behind her is very interesting and really the
Thank you.
backdrop for this meeting.
Yes. I
But it's a
chosen for
very,
this one.
it's a very interesting topic, and I'm sure you must have brought in all your experience of all your life.
I spoke only on Patolas. I
Ah.
didn't speak
So this
on
time you-
everything else because I feel when you're talking general, then you're not addressing anything at all.
Correct.
So I just chose one topic and took it forward. But next time we'll choose something else.
Yeah. True.
And I'm looking forward to you being there.
Yeah, I hope so. Certainly. So you have the handloom in the background and the patola in the foreground.
Yes, absolutely.
Uh,
Both are my favorite.
Yeah, absolutely, without doubt. Why not?
Mhm.
Very nice.
Priyanka, you have got a question from
Yes,
Alok
yes,
Bhaiya.
yeah. There is a question from Alok ji. He's asking whether Bella madam is associated with Okai.
I would love to be, but unfortunately, no, I'm not.
Dr. Poonam Arora also has, further written a comment about her take on the experience that you have shared.
Please share.
Yeah.
Please share.
She says that her point is that textiles are to be marketed as works of art with magical qualities like the magical
Sure.
qualities of African masks.
Sure. Sure. We can do that also. There's no right or the wrong approach. Whichever approach works. If one is able to sell and create markets, let's go ahead and start creating markets for our viewers.
I had another
Thank you.
take just now. If I can take it for a couple of minutes. Now I'm connected with an engineering college who want to put forward what are the scientific principles involved in any machine. As a kind of reverse engineering kind of thing. That you take a machine and you show to the students rather than first taking the theory and then saying that this principle is used in this machine and all that. You work backwards. You take a machine and then show the students which principle comes in. So perhaps we could do this with this same approach with the handlooms, where it should be easier in a sense, easier to explain, because obviously not many principles would be involved, not many theories would be involved, and by and large, all these handloom or handicraft kind of equipment, the student can see. There's nothing inside a closed body. So I think maybe not now, but maybe a month or so later, I would like to get in touch with you and we would like to take this forward as a kind of project for our students.
Yeah, but having said that, I mean, this is a fantastic project and there is a huge potential over there. But the kind of projects that I like to work with are the simpler the technology, the better control one has.
Quite true.
To
That also we
say,
can
for
talk about, because I'm
example,
just cementing this relationship and what kind of projects that can come up with. It's open.
Sure.
Obviously, if you are sitting in an industry, if you can suggest a project, that is the best thing.
I'd love to.
What I said is just to take the students out of the classroom.
Yes. Yes.
Today, actually, the problem is that today, when they are in the classroom, they are not even in the classroom, they are inside a textbook.
Forget about the
paper cage.
textbook.
Just as you have a paper tiger, you have a paper cage, and they cannot escape that paper cage. So this was our way of taking them out. Obviously, if you are there to welcome them with some other project, that is the best thing, obviously, without doubt.
The more the merrier. Aane
Yeah.
do.
I like it, ma'am. Zarur like it.
Yeah. Because I do feel ki they are the future. I am there today, tomorrow I'm not going to be there. But somebody is going to take it forward, and we need to guide them to take it forward. So it will be fantastic to interact with them and kind of show them that this is the way our ancient people used to do it. We don't have to follow the same system, but if we follow, then we will be preserving our ancient systems also. And especially in weaving, the calculations are very, very important. So if they are able to do that, that will be a fantastic situation. And we can take it forward then. I'm looking forward to this project that when you are ready, I'd love that. Yeah,
Can I take a few more minutes of yours?
go ahead.
I just wanted to know what is the progress of your, aim, mission to bring this handicraft as an industry status.
No, I don't feel heard at all. 1 minute, huh? 1 second. Please excuse me.
Yes.
In my mission to create industry, I think Bela Sangvi is not enough. What we need is everyone together, and also in everyone, the government is also involved. So if we are all together, then we will be able to convert this into an industry. Otherwise, it's going to be just talk and on the paper. I have written many papers on this, but I need action. I am also the secretary to Sri Venkatachari Committee for Handloom Revival in Maharashtra. Along with Mr. Venkatachari, and the whole committee went to so many different places, did a lot of research, ground floor level research, and still nothing has come out of it. So there is a willingness for the other side to take it forward. ताली 2 हाथ से बजेगी. मैं तो काम करूंगी, लेकिन अगला काम नहीं करेगा, तो उसको आगे कैसे लेके जाएं?
So how to ensure that?
How to ensure? I don't think I have the. I think I've been working on this since last 41 years, and I still have, in my personal capacity, whatever I wanted to do, I've been able to achieve that. But when it comes to public domain, I don't know how to deal with that properly. Even though I am the advisor to the Weaver Service Center, I am consultant to many of the organizations, I still feel that we are very far from sensitizing people into understanding of the actual issues of handloom, handicrafts, and khadi. If the issues are understood, then the policies can change instantly. But I have to confess that I have not been so effective in that area. And still, I'm not giving up on my mission. We are still continuing with that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that enlightenment.
Most welcome.
Yeah, Priyanka, you can continue with the next item, please.
I would like to request Sir Neeraj Yazanik to give vote of thanks. Neeraj Yazanik did his chemical engineering from IIT Mumbai and then his management course from IIM Ahmedabad. The entrepreneur in him got the better of the managerial training and he has been in business after a short stint in industry. He also has spent over a decade in academics and is interested in strategy, safety management, and social invention. Sir Yajanik, please proceed.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being present today. And of course, to Sangvi for enlightening talk, which I missed, but since I've had the benefit of having spoken to her a little while ago, so I am sure that she would have added much more to that. Ours was that time very focused on one point. So, but from the background that she has put behind her, I can well understand what she must have spoken about. And one would even thank her, not just for the talk, but for these two pictures, the background and the foreground, as I said.
Please. Thank you.
So that is the thing. Of course, thanks to
Also, I
Priyanka ji.
would like to thank the lady who spoke on Lepcha because these things need to be spoken about. That Northeast problems are serious problems. And I'm so
Right.
glad that she's brought them out. And I'm so glad that she's doing something about it. So I do feel that she's doing a considerably wonderful job.
राजीव भैया इसके बारे में कुछ एक छोटा पैराग्राफ तो बनाए तो आगे कुछ कर सकते हैं.
जरूर करते हैं, जरूर
हाँ.
करते हैं.
Because I missed it, otherwise I would have done it myself. But
No,
since I missed the talk, I think
It
somebody
is-
should take that forward.
Sir, it has been recorded. You can watch
Very
the
nice.
video later on.
Please send me the link. It will be very nice of you.
Sure, sir.
I must thank you also, Priyanka Didi, for wonderfully. You have a friend also. Why don't shoo him away? They add to the color. I mean, we are talking of handlooms and handicrafts, and how can we shoo away these creatures who have been part of the hope for long? They add the color, which, I mean, they bring the, you might say, the dash of humanity to a very formal situation. I'm very welcome that way. Thank you for the dog.
Thank you, sir.
I must thank everybody who had contributed, and in fact, so anybody who has participated. Thank you very much, everybody. Like to sign
Thank
off.
you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Priyanka, you
inviting
can
us.
request Alok Bhaiya for the
Gee, I will do that.
anthem video. Yeah,
Ji.
anthem video. He's there. He's trying for the first time, so we have to give him benefit of doubt.
Sure.
Errors, no issue.
Okay, okay. Mr. Alok, can you please kindly play the national anthem of Jena family? Mr. Alok, can you hear me, please?
Yeah. Actually, this time, I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me because there was a condolence meeting on Zoom and my laptop is busy for that. So I'll not be
Okay.
able to do that today, but I promise that next time I will do it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, no issues.
Yeah.
Priyanka, you can thank once again on behalf of everybody, and we can close today's event.
Thank you everyone for taking your precious time out for this event, and I hope everyone enjoyed, presenter as well as the attendees. Have a nice time ahead. Thanks a lot, all of you, once again.
Thank you very much.